Good morning. Today is the day I'm going to teach you everything you need to know about angles. And you thought school was over. No. You're going to learn today. I'm going to teach you something today. I know you're probably a man. 68% of you watch me without being subscribed, so fix that right now. Subscribe that button. Get off your lazy butt. Smash the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the bell notification that says always or everything, okay? So that you can see everything. Angles are like tools. There is no best angle. There is the best angle for the thing that you're trying to achieve. It's just like there are flathead screwdrivers, there are Phillips screwdriver, other shaped screwdrivers, and the right screwdriver will help you do the right thing. If you don't have the right one, it just doesn't work as well. Let's just go through the most common angles, their use cases. We'll start off with zero. If you're starting to fly and you're scared of being able to control the drone, the first thing you want to do is just be able to fly at level. Now, I think you should be able to start flying with about a 20-degree angle, but let's say your first few flights, you could fly at 0 degrees or 10 degrees or something like that. The other thing that 0 degrees is good for is if you're flying 3D. Because if you have any angle when you're flying 3D, when you're upside down, and 3D is basically that you can fly either way. The middle of the throttle is 0, and when you push it up, it'll go like this. You push it down, it'll actually go that way. So you can flip upside down and start flying backwards. It's really cool stuff. If you want to fly 3D, you want to have a 0 angle, or your very first time flying, maybe 0 degrees. Those are your two use cases for 0. 20 degrees, to me, that's my favorite angle to fly at, to just fly nice and gently, to fly nice and slow. Cinematic and filming, it looks better when you go nice and slow. You can speed it up also, but there's something about just a long, smooth, slow line. And to me, 20 degrees is the perfect angle to just be able to go, to not worry about speed, be able to just go nice and smooth. 20 degrees is probably the best angle for beginners. So for instance, this is a ballerina. It's kind of like a long range, and I have it set to about 25 degrees, and it's fixed. Out of everything that I fly, this is the easiest thing to fly. Avery can even fly it. It's just so nice and smooth. The reason it's better to fly with a little bit of angle as opposed to something like this is anytime you want to move forward, you're always having to pitch, thrust, and then like adjust. And as a beginner, it's actually going to be harder for you to progress and become a better flyer that way, because you're always going to be messing around with pitch. You want to move forward, you have to pitch down, you have to thrust, and then catch. To get yourself moving forward, you're not going to move forward unless you angle down, thrust, and then catch yourself. So let's say you want to fly through something, you got to kind of pitch down, pull yourself, level out, and kind of always be like gliding everywhere. Whereas if you're flying at like 25 degrees, it's that perfect angle where you don't really have to go down and thrust. You can just, you're flying at this, it's controllable, it's smooth. So having that angle as a beginner is actually going to help you. It's going to make you more efficient too. So sometimes people think that more angle means more speed, and it can be, but it's also more efficient. Angling, thrusting, angling, and constantly having to adjust yourself, you're not going to be as efficient or smooth as just gently controlling that 20 or 25 degree angle. If you're starting, you actually are going to want, as soon as you're comfortable with the drone at a bit more angle, just fly it. 20 to 30 degrees is a beautiful angle for most people doing most things. Same thing, like this is another like cinematic rig, and you want to have your action camera, you want the camera to be in line with this camera. So some people would think, let's make this right in the middle, but then the camera wouldn't be lined with the camera. So if you have an action camera, you want it to be at the same angle and the same line as your real camera, because this way everything you see you're going to be able to frame in your action camera. And that's something that sometimes people don't think about. So it's good to have the same angle and have it in line with your camera. This is another one at 20 degrees. Another thing to think about So this would be the 03, and you could do the same thing with the 04. Specifically, lots of people have dead cats. This is a true X, and if you turn it into a pusher, you can have no props in view. The other thing that happens when you're flying at around 20 degrees, 30 degrees, if you're going straight down, diving, dive into my playlists. Watch the whole beginner playlist if you're new. It'll teach you all sorts of things. And if you got a good smile or laugh out of any of this, $2 Patreon. Come on. Or I can say your name for $10, like in text form.
That's ridiculous.
Maybe I'll even read it if you want me to read it to you, if that would make you happy.
Dumb.
What's dumb?
Paying some stranger on the internet $10 to say your name for 1 second. That's ultimate stupidity.
Show my wife that it's not dumb.
I just wanna thank you, your loving kindness.
If all your weight is on one side and you have a high angle, when you're going down, so let's say we had our 50-degree angle, which we'll get to later. If you're diving straight down at 50 degrees, do you see what's happening? It wants to fall. It'll want to fall. You have to think about the balance and the gravity of the drone. If you're going straight down at 50 degrees, like it's not gonna fall nicely. If you cut the throttle, it's gonna fall this way. So 20, 25, 30 degrees is a really nice angle to be able to just dive straight down. So if you're doing lots of dives and you want them to be super smooth and be able to like get close to the building, you're not going to want to have more than like a 30-degree angle. So that's something to think about too. 20, cinematic. 30, perfect for like freestyle, a little bit more fun. And we have that here. We have the 30, 35-degree angle here. Once again, the camera is in line with the lens. And then this one, this is at 30 degrees. I think 30 degrees is like the perfect angle to kind of just start like racing and everything. It's not too much where you're going too fast that you can't control it, but it's also not so slow that it doesn't pull you through. So if you're beginning to race, lots of people try to start at like 40, 50, and it's a little bit too much. And then you try to fly at a lower angle. Let's say you're trying to fly a race at about 20 degrees. That's not that great either, because you're going to have a hard time getting it kind of going, and you're going to be constantly putting it down and pitching, throttling, pitching, throttling. 30 is a really nice beginner racer's angle because you don't have to pitch as much and you can just get yourself smooth flying at 30 degrees. It's great for freestyle and it's great for beginner race. Now you want to start racing. 45 degrees is nice. 45 degrees is the last angle that is really still kind of landable. You can freestyle with it. It's nice. There's something magical that happens when you hit 50 degrees though. You see, when you hit 50 degrees, this is kind of like the perfect, you start off at 30, you get used to that, then you can bump it to like 40, you can bump it to 45. When you hit 50, there's just something magical that happens. You don't have to worry about like pitch at all. Lots of the time as you're flying, you're doing little adjustments and stuff. So when you're at 50, all you're doing is controlling your throttle and it's pulling you. And it's not so much that you have to think about like speed, but just enough throttle to kind of keep yourself up. And you can fly so smooth and steady. And then what ends up happening is instead of you controlling all the axes, you're just kind of steering. At this angle, you're kind of still controlling everything. But then when you're at 50, it's like you're in a direction. You're moving this way. When you're turning and stuff, all you're doing is turning it. You're just kind of steering it. Like those other inputs are kind of gone. When you're at 50, yeah, it's fast, it's fun, and it's kind of like a whole different experience. Yes, like when you're throttling in general, you know, you hit your throttle, it brings you up. But when you're at 50 degrees and you throttle, it actually pulls you forward. So it's an interesting thing because it's just throttling just makes you go faster instead of lifting you up. It's like a roller coaster, whereas we're going fast now and all we do is steer which way it goes. Another thing that happens is if you understand motorcycles, so if you were going slow and you turn left, you go left. But if you're going fast and you push the handlebar forward, it makes you drop and you go right. So you push the steering wheel left and then it makes the bike drop and you turn left. When you start flying at kind of faster speeds, you really start to notice it's almost like on a boat, like the rudder, and you can do this rear steering. So you can think about, instead of just pitching forward to go forward, you're already doing that. So as you're going into a turn, you actually can pitch backwards. Look at this. So you're going into a turn, and then it's like you're power steering. You push yourself backwards to be able to go through that turn. And just thinking about that, thinking about it like a car drifting. You have that speed, and you're going, and you turn, and now you can literally use your pitch to make yourself turn steeper. And it's a nice thing to think about, that back drag. When you're going fast, you not only have the ability to just turn, but you have the ability to go, like you just, it's like you can bank into those turns. And it's a really neat feeling. And it's also good to think about that, to understand. Think about a car. When a car does a turn, if it's not going that fast, it turns. If the car's going super fast, it's either going to flip over or it's going to drift. So as soon as you have that speed, you're going to have the ability to drift. You're going to have the rear. You're going to have more drag. So I want you to think about when you're flying normally, but as soon as you're going fast, think about pitching backwards as giving you the ability to turn way faster, to kind of just shoot yourself back and take a sharper turn. Because if you're going really fast and then you try to just turn, the momentum's going to pull you and that turn's going to go way more wide. But if you're able to go into the turn and pitch backward while throttling, you're going to be able to like drift way faster through turns. So really think about that rear drag turning ability. All of these are different versions of the Great Discus, my custom drone. Pushers, regular ones, except for the ballerina. The ballerina is basically a 4-inch that flies amazing but has no protection. So when you smash it, you break the motors, but the flight performance is amazing. It's not made to be smashed. The Discus is made to take a beating. It's got bumpers that protect your motors, they protect the frame. It's an amazing drone, and working on it for years, and more customizations. So you can have one custom built to your needs. Just check out the website below. There's write-ups about everything. It's kind of like a place where I sell some of my stuff, so you could support me that way. Or you just learn stuff, and you can order some things from the affiliate links there. You have a custom drone with custom colors, custom prints, all suited to your needs. Don't get stuck in one angle. Don't get stuck where it's like, I just fly this. Try them out. See how they feel. If you're used to going super fast, like even Min Chan, I believe, he's flying at like 55 or 50 degrees. And when he freestyles, he's in 15 degrees. If you're always flying with angle, then when you fly without angle, it's a different feel. And that can be enjoyable too. I really enjoy flying at 20 degrees. I feel like it's really nice. It's safe. I can control everything. Whereas if I'm flying at 50 degrees, it's more like, oh, hold on to your seatbelt. For racing, it's fun. And just to have that like super fast feel, it is an experience. But it's not the angle that I would fly at all the time because I don't feel safe. Also, like I explained with the whole diving situation, you have to think about the position that your drone is in, all of that. Like with Cinewhoops, lots of people feel that Cinewhoops don't fly well, but that's because they're super top heavy. Always think about all those things. I hope that this helps you to kind of like unlock your mind a bit and use angles like a tool for the job that you're trying to do, or just to experience different things. And especially as a beginner, don't be afraid to give yourself a bit more angle, because lots of the time when I see people's flight videos, they're struggling with constantly correcting themselves with the pitch. So if you give yourself a bit more angle, it'll actually make you smoother lots of the time. So think about that, consider that. Yeah, if you get a Discus, I can make it custom for you, colors, all that stuff. If you do want to buy a drone off me, I ship worldwide. Just shoot me a message on Discord. You can join the Discord by going to the bottom of the website. The Discord link is there, and you can hang out with a whole pile of other people that are enjoying fun company and wonderful drones. FPV stories. They're wonderful adventures, high effort content, some of the finest in all of YouTube. So bloody get to watching those.